farmers. You can now prevent and cure fungal diseases with Eradicate Systemic Fungicide from Newport-Fersan, Jamaica Limited. Eradicate is effective against rust in coffee, citrus, sugarcane and peanut, black and yellow secatoka, early blight, mildews, purple blotch in onions, and other fungal diseases. Get your Eradicate at your nearest farm store or at the Newport-Fersan office, 2A2B Worry Wharf Complex. Stay in control with Eradicate. Fersan in the Field, Real Issues, Real Solutions, is brought to you by Newport-Fersan, Jamaica Limited, the first on the land.
Well, it's now time for Fersan in the Field, Real Issues, Real Solutions. And this morning we're joined by Danavan Pryce, Agronomist, Research and Development. Good morning, Danavan. How are you doing?
I'm fine. A bit chilly, but I'm good. How are you this morning?
What are you saying? Where in the world are you that you're chilly, Danavan?
Well, I'm in the countryside now.
Oh, boy, I wish I was there because, of course, Celeste will tell you that I enjoy the chillier times. No matter how they are telling me that they're cold, I'm as hot as anything.
Yes.
Oh, boy. Good to have you back with us, Danavan.
Yes,
and you're touching on a topic that we don't often discuss, but really very important. A very important part of the agricultural sector is ornamentals. And
yes.
I noticed, Danavan, that these days a number of people are growing edible gardens, which means that they're focusing on ornamentals that are edible, which is absolutely wonderful. But for the benefit of those people who do not know, what plants are classified as ornamentals and how would you describe their relevance? Are they really relevant?
All right, very good question. Morning to our listeners. All right, so ornamentals really refer to plants that are grown for decorative purposes, and they are cultivated for their aesthetic value and are often used in landscaping, gardens, and as indoor house plants. Ornamental plants may have attractive foliage, flowers, or overall shape and structure of the plant can come off attractive to persons. Now, we talk about what's the relevance of ornamentals in Jamaican landscape. Now, according to a statistical report that came out in 2019, right, it indicated that the agricultural sector in Jamaica, which includes the production of ornamental plants, valued a total of $67.3 billion in 2019. Now, that same report indicates that the production of flowers and ornamental plants accounted for 4.2% of the total value of agricultural production. So that you're looking at over $2 billion being inputted into the Jamaican economy. Now, according to the Jamaica Horticultural Society, the ornamental industry generates over 500 million Jamaican dollars annually in Jamaica. Now, cut flowers is one of the top-selling parts of the ornamental plants. You have the roses, even orchids, the blooms are used to sell, and it generates a lot of income for the country. Now, so in terms of relevance, we're seeing that it is impacting the economy of the island and continues to grow as more persons are coming into the ornamental sector and boosting that revenue over time.
Wow. And of course, one of the areas where there's a lot of growth that is taking place now is landscaping, and ornamentals factor significantly in this area. Isn't that so?
Yes, that is very true. That is very true. Nobody wants a house that the surrounding looks like a desert.
All right, Danavan, right there, right on spot. Let me just say good morning to Mrs. Tasha Cook, who is holding, because we're going to be joining her in just a bit. Good morning, Mrs. Cook. Welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Good morning. How are you?
I am good, and I'm very excited to hear from you this morning. I'll come back to you in just a bit, but we have to get a little bit of additional information out of Danavan before I come to you. All right. So, Danavan, what are some of the nutritional issues that affect ornamental care?
All right. Let me start off by saying that a balanced nutrient program in ornamental production is essential for the health and growth of ornamental plants. Now, ornamentals require a variety of nutrients, a total of 16 nutrients. in order to grow and develop properly. Now, a lack of any of these essential nutrients can lead to a number of problems such as stunted growth, yellowing of leaves, poor flower, or even fruit development, and susceptibility to pest and disease. Now, there are nutrients that have key benefits to the ornamental plants. One of them is calcium. And what calcium does, it plays a crucial role in the plant's defense mechanism. So we always have a saying that nutrition is the first line of defense for the plant against pests and disease and other stress environmental effects. Now, one of the issues that we highlight, not only with ornamental farmers, but farmers right across the globe, is that farmers will focus on just sometimes the main nutrients like your nitrogen, your phosphorus, your potassium. But the micronutrients also play a key role in the productive development of the ornamental plants. One such micronutrient is boron, that plays a crucial role in flower development of your ornamental plants. Yes? And then you have zinc, which plays a role in also root development of your ornamental plants and other benefits as well. So what we find is that when farmers aren't providing that balanced nutritional approach, you find that the growth and the development of your ornamental plants are impeded significantly. And remember now that ornamentals, the foliage, the structure and the shape of the plant is what is attractive. And if the plant is not getting the balanced nutrients that are required, then what you're going to find is a drop in the quality of your ornamental plants, which will lead to a drop in your sales and revenue. Of
course, you don't want that.
Yeah, you don't want that. You don't want that, right? So those are some of the issues coming out in ornamental care in terms of crop nutrition. A next issue that indirectly impacts crop nutrition, is the pH of the water. So pH can range from acidic to alkaline. Now, if the water is too acidic, then what you find is that some nutrients cannot be absorbed by the plants. And if it is too alkaline, the same is true. So what happens is that a lot of persons will mix nutrients in any water source they get and not give consideration to the pH of the water that impacts the nutrient uptake by the plant. So you'll have a balanced program, yes, but the pH can mess up the balance and prevent the plant from absorbing those nutrients efficiently. So we always say that not knowing your water pH is a suicide mission in any crop nutrition program.
All right. Well, let me before I ask you about pests and diseases, just bring Mrs. Cook in and get a little bit of information from her about where it is that she's located and how she got into the business. Mrs. Cook, so where exactly is your operation located?
Hi, I'm located in Montego Bay, St. James.
And what got you into ornamentals?
You know, that goes back a long time ago. My mother used to collect orchids, or she would get orchids as gifts, and we'd always challenge ourselves to see whether or not we could get the orchids to rebloom.
Oh, so you challenge yourself.
And, you know, it's so funny. Once you become successful at something, it kind of sparks your interest and your enthusiasm, and you want to try it again.
Yes.
Having said that, I've lost many orchids along the way to all of these, you know, diseases that Danavan is talking about. But I've managed to increase my knowledge and understand a little bit more about growing orchids and be able to have a nice orchid garden.
All right, excellent. All right, let me get from Danavan now. What are some of the major pests and diseases that affect ornamentals, Danavan? Before I ask Mrs. Cook any other question, because I want to learn a little bit more about her operations.
Yes, very, very good question. No, there are some glaring pests and disease that ornamentals. One of them is whiteflies. This is a nuisance. I mean, when I say the name, I know a lot of ornamental growers just roll their eyes up in the air.
You don't need to be an ornamental grower.
Yes.
Or a farmer to have a problem with whiteflies.
Yes, that is true. That is true.
They're terrible.
They're terrible, man.
Yes.
Very terrible. No, this is one of a very pressing problem right across the landscape. And one of the reasons is that, one, their life cycle is very short. And one whitefly can produce up to 20 to 30 eggs. Yes? So what happens is that you find that they're very prolific and they can survive in adverse conditions. And then sometimes when persons are coming to spray, by the time the vibrations of the leaves are the leaves are disturbed by the application of the product, what will happen that they will fly to the edges of your garden and wait until you're finished and then come over again. So you find that the controlling the whiteflies is a very intricate manner. Then we have aphids, and these pests, what they do, aphids, whiteflies, they feed on the sap of your ornamental plants. And when they feed on the sap, they cause the plants to have stunted growth, reducing productivity. The leaves will curl and the leaves will become distorted, thus affecting the quality of your ornamental plants. Then we have fungus. Now, if you go into any average garden or any ornamental setup, the plants are in a tight, confined spot. And what will happen, that will inhibit the flow of air through the plants. And what that will lend itself to is a microclimate that develops, that lead to a fungal development. So for orchid growers, they will see some leaf spots. And for those persons who grow their Duranta goals, they'll see some leaf spots coming up on the leaves when there's high moisture. And so these fungus can distort the quality, especially if the beauty of your plants is in the foliage of the plants. Then we have viruses. Now, to make emphasis on orchids, there are three main viruses that affect orchids. You have the Cymbidium mosaic virus, you have the Odontoglossum ring spot virus, and you also have the orchid fleck virus. And these are just a few. Then you have the Catalea mosaic virus, and these distort the leaves and they cause a reduction in the growth and productivity of your orchids. Yes? And so these are some of the common pests and disease that causes a problem with ornamental growers. And it is further compounded by that some ornamental growers, they will have let's say, for example, they have a fungicide or a insecticide, miticide, and they will just keep on using that one product over and over and
very
over
problematic.
Again. And it becomes very problematic because the pest and disease develops a resistance.
I've been afraid of this.
Yes. They develop a resistance.
Yes.
And they pass that resistant genetics to their offspring, and then the offspring comes up and laugh at you when you're spraying those chemicals again.
Well, let us find out from Mrs. Cook if she has experienced this. First of all, Mrs. Cook, what type of ornamentals do you currently cultivate? Is it just the orchids?
Yes. Hello, are you hearing me?
Yes, I'm hearing you now.
Yes,
I was asking if it is only orchids that you grow.
Right, yes. I'm a little biased. I only do orchids.
That is not a little biased, Mrs. Cook. What are some of the issues, though, that you have experienced growing the orchids? I mean, Danavan speaks about the pests and diseases. What have you come upon that has created challenges for you?
Well, at various times, I think I've had problems with, pests, insects. I had problems with fungus affecting the orchids. And also you find that at certain times of the year, or, the orchids may need, in their growth cycle, they may need different nutrients to grow. And if you're not paying attention, they may not be struggling because of lack of those nutrients.
Okay.
However, as a busy person, where growing orchids is really my hobby, I just kind of need products that have everything in there that my orchids could possibly need.
So you just want it one and done, one product and done.
Easy. I like it easy. Yes, I like it easy.
So, which begs the question then, what are some of the solutions that you have used to date from Newport-Fersan to address some of the challenges?
Well, so for the nutrients for the plants, I use the Orchid Premium. I love that product. It has all the nutrients that they tell me that I need for my orchids, and I just use that to fertilize my orchids weekly.
You just gone about your business, right?
And I'm just gone about my business. My blooms look great. My plants look nice and healthy. They have nice fat roots. The flowers, they're nice and big, and they last long, and I just love it.
All right, excellent. And so you would recommend that to other ornamental growers?
Definitely. The Orchid Premium is a good balanced product to give to provide nutrients for the orchids.
We're inside the feature Fersan in the Field, Real Issues, Real Solutions. And this morning we're taking a look at ornamental crop care. We have with us Danavan Pryce, agronomist, and he has taken along for the conversation a few farmers who are involved in growing ornamentals. I don't know how many of them are involved in it as a business. You would have heard Tasha Cook talking about the fact that she wants to hold on to her plants. If you twist her arm, she will sell them. And perhaps that is how all ornamental growers operate, unless they intentionally went into it as a business. So let us now say good morning and welcome to the program to Charmaine Palmer Cross. Mrs. Cross, good morning. How are you?
Good morning.
Good.
Are you hearing me?
I am hearing you now. How are you?
I am good, thank you.
Good to have you on with us. First of all, let me get a little bit of information from you about your business. Is it, first of all, a business for you?
Yes, it is. Both a business and a hobby. I actually started out as a hobbyist. And of course, persons have been asking me, can you sell me this? Can you sell me that? And eventually, I have crossed over.
Oh, yes, because you say, but wait, I can make money from this.
Oh, yes.
All right, so where exactly are you located?
I'm actually located in Spalding, Manchester. I'm on the border.
Very familiar with there. I taught at Knox, so I know that Spalding's, Manchester border.
Yes.
Excellent. And what types of ornamentals do you currently cultivate?
I actually do orchids.
Okay. Another orchid lover. What are some of the issues and challenges that you have been experiencing growing your orchids?
All right. Mainly fungal issues, because where I live, the humidity is extremely high. Mm-hmm. And because of that, it kind of harbors certain kind of fungal or bacteria. And so we tend to get black spots. We have leaves falling. Also, I also end up with pest problem, such as scaly insects, and sometimes thrips. But of course, with a rigorous routine, then you will reduce some of those.
All right. And I would imagine that as part of the rigorous routine, you are adhering to what it is that the team from Newport-Fersan, they have advised you to do, which leads me then to the question, what are some of the solutions that you have been using from Newport-Fersan to address the issues that you have highlighted?
All right. First of all, I have been using Fersan nutrient solutions for a number of years, because I actually started out as a greenhouse grower. So I started out using the initiator, which is beautiful. When I use it on the orchids, I tell you, you get prolific roots, you get prolific blooms, because when you have good rooting system, then of course you have healthy plants.
Right.
So I love the initiator. But quite recently, I was introduced to the Orchid Max and the Orchid Premium. And believe me, I just love those products. What I find, actually, within a week after using the Orchid Max, which is for vegetative growth, I notice a big difference in the leaves in terms of the color, and they just look plump. They just look rich. And what I love with it, it is a complete fertilizer because it comes with magnesium, calcium, sulfur, microelements, and so forth. And the sulfur in particular, because I do Phalaenopsis orchids commercially, and persons will tend to have issues with it in terms of crown rot and so forth. With the sulfur included in this mix, it helps to eliminate or prevent some of these conditions. And it also corrects nutrient deficiencies. And that is what I love with the Orchid Max and the Orchid Premium.
All right. Well, let me bring Danavan in. Although, Danavan, I don't think you have any explanation to give because I think Mrs. Cross clearly has taken some very good notes.
Yes.
She has used the products and she understands exactly how they work. But give us some additional information.
All right. So our Orchid, one of the things Newport-Fersan prides itself in is creating valuable efficient options for our customers, for our farmers. And the Orchid blend is one of those products that have come out through hard work. So the Orchid Max has a nutrient ratio of 18% nitrogen, 18% phosphorus, 23% potassium with sulfur, calcium, magnesium, and all the micronutrients. And the Orchid Max aims to promote root development, as Ms. Cross said. A good root development leads to a healthy plant, as it can uptake nutrients more efficiently. So root development, and it promotes the vegetative development of your orchids. Then we have the Orchid Premium, which has a nutrient ratio of 17% nitrogen, 9% phosphorus, 9% phosphorus, yes, 27% potassium, sulfur, calcium, magnesium, and micronutrients. And that aims to stimulate the blooms of your orchids and to maintain the blooms of your orchids. And what you'd realize with this mix is that it has all the nutrients that are necessary in the correct ratio for orchid growers. So it's like a one-stop meal for your orchids that you can apply weekly.
Well, I get the excitement. I hear that in what Mrs. Cross is saying. Mrs. Cross, because this is business for you, remind us where you're located and how can people get in touch with you?
All right, yes. I'm in Spalding, and I am actually on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and not to mention YouTube. I have a YouTube vlogging. I do YouTube vlogs where I share my experience in how I grow orchids in Jamaica. So on YouTube, I am called the Orchid Doc, growing orchids in Jamaica. And for Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, the same handle, Orchid_Doc. Right. My telephone number, 792-8809.
Right. Thank you so very much, Mrs. Cross, and we wish you all the best in the business going forward.
Thank you so much.
All right, a pleasure. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. That was Charmaine Palmer Cross there. And we have one final guest that we're catching up with this morning, and that is Sharon Anderson. Mrs. Anderson, good morning and welcome to Farm Talk. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. I'm great.
Good. Where are you located?
Montego Bay.
We seem to have a lot of ornamental growers out west.
Certainly. And the numbers are growing.
Okay. So are you into orchids too?
Yes, we are. My husband is standing just right beside me right now. Yes, we are. We just do it for hobby, for home. We're not selling. I think they're so. I don't want to be selfish, but they're so beautiful, and they're like should I say our children? We talk to them as well.
Well, no wonder you have your husband beside you, because of course you need support for the children.
Yes. And he helps a lot with nurturing and with the growth, and maintenance.
Yes.
So, we really do love our orchids.
How did you get started on this path, though? What led you to start growing orchids?
I don't know. I was drawn to this plant years ago. I can't even recall, but I bought one Vanda. Yes, one Vanda.
Is your husband close enough for you to bring him forward so I can hear him? Because he's giving you notes from the background there. So bring him closer.
The show, that's where it all started from.
Okay. All right, and from then you both just developed a love for it, or did she have to nudge you?
Yeah, no, actually he has a love for plants. So he also plants, I'm a green thumb person.
Okay, all right. So he has a green thumb.
Yes.
Oh, excellent. And what I would imagine that along the way you would have faced some challenges. What are some of these challenges?
Actually, even the long drought that we had the other day, I'm going to use that as an example. I know the color of the leaves of the orchid, they were, a little yellowish. And I remember he said, no, Cheryl, we have to start spraying or feeding the orchids with the initiator. And he started out for 1 week. And trust me, there was transformation. There was a difference. You start seeing the green and that beautiful look that it really should have. So it's like we test the plants. We know when to give them a little flooring. We know when to, if we cut a new plant and we're gonna put it to put it together to make a new pot of plant. We know what to do with an initiator by using a starter and to help to push the root. And the initiator also does that.
All right, excellent. Danavan, let me bring you in, because it is clear to me that many of the individuals in this country who grow ornamentals, they do it for the love of the plant. So they're not necessarily in business. And I think that this is a good thing about understanding the agricultural sector. It's not just for the people who are in business. It is also for those of us who really do it just for the love of it, for the enjoyment of it. And I would imagine that the products come in sizes that make it convenient for people to use them, no matter whether they're a commercial grower or they're just a backyard gardener.
Yes, and that is true. So one of the things, if, for example, she mentioned the premium line, which includes the initiator premium, the flooring premium, and the growth premium. A lot of orchid farmers love the premium line because of the results that they have obtained from it. And it does come in the pack size of a 1 pound packet and also 25 pounds for those who have larger operations. There are also other product lines that we do have, liquid fertilizer lines like our Maniplex line. We have our Maniplex vegetable that provides a host of micronutrients that plants need, as well as some macronutrients, including magnesium and nitrogen. And also you have other fertilizers included in the Maniplex line, like your Maniplex calcium, your Maniplex boron, your Maniplex iron, your Maniplex zinc. So we provide a host of nutrients in various options to our ornamental growers.
And that is whether you're commercial or you're just doing it for your home purposes, for the love of it. Danavan, I'm going to give you a little bit extra time, so hold on for me. Mr. and Mrs. Anderson, you continue to take care of those babies, and thank you so very much for sharing with us this morning.
You're welcome. Have a good day.
All right, take care.
And my husband's slogan is Fersan, simply the best. We promote it all the time.
Danavan, that sounds like you need to give Mr. Anderson that job.
It's a very catchy slogan.
All right, we take the break. When we come back, we wrap up our conversation with Danavan Pryce. All right, so Danavan, just a little bit additional information that we need to get out of you this morning. I wanted to just touch a little bit on what are some of the techniques and strategies that as a company you have been both advocating for and assisting the farmers with in terms of the management of ornamentals. So can you just run through that quickly for us?
Yes, ma'am, no problem. So first and foremost, we have made, as I said before, a variety of options, product options available to our customers. Now, a lot of our farmers online were orchid growers, but we also facilitate other ornamental growers. We have the mega grass for those landscapers or persons who are into landscaping and lawn management, and we have the mega grass that is very good in maintaining the greenery of your lawns, and we have the mega garden for those persons who have assorted plants in a garden bed, and the mega garden is very efficient in meeting the nutritional demands for those ornamental plants. Now, our technical team also have made themselves available to our farmers in providing field visits that follow up with field appraisal and assessment. So we'll come and we'll look at your garden beds, your setup. Even if you're commercial or not, we'll come by and we'll look. And we'll make the necessary assessment and recommendations. And sometimes the recommendations doesn't always be a particular product. Sometimes it's best practices that just needs to be followed. Yes? And we do guide our ornamental farmers in that regards. In terms of, we mentioned about water pH and how it impacts nutritional, your crop nutrition management. And we also have the pH meter that will aid farmers in their operation in reading and knowing what the pH of your water is. And then we have the citric acid that helps to ameliorate or to condition that pH of your water if it is too high, to bring it down into the acceptable range between a pH of 5.5 to 6.5. We also have training sessions that we have made available to our farmers, not only via Zoom, but also in-person training sessions. We'll come out to your setup, we'll come and talk to you if you have gardeners that you want for us to just do a walkthrough to train. We'll come out and we'll conduct those training sessions free of cost. A lot of farmers have always asked me how much it will cost them, and all of this is free of cost. And for farmers that want to reach out to us to access these benefits, to take advantage of what we offer from Newport-Fersan, they can call us at 618-0532, and they will be guided to our technical department and the respective agronomists for the parishes that they are in.
Excellent. Before you leave us, I'm going to get some information from you about some shows that you have that are coming up that you're going to be participating in. But I see Rosie out of Goshen in St. Elizabeth saying, I am stuck to the radio. Can't move. So that is how interesting the information has been this morning. Yes. So, of course, we have Easter Monday coming up, and you are going to be participating in a number of activities. Can you just tell us what these are?
Okay, so we'll be participating in the Montpelier Agricultural Show. We'll also be participating in the St. Mary Grazing Show in St. Mary there. And also, there will also be a show in Black River, St. Elizabeth, that we'll be a part of. And we'll be carrying our product line that we have. Our technical team will be there, our agronomists will be there as well, that you can come and interact with us. You can carry any challenges that you have that has always piqued your brain, and you can have a discussion with us, and then we can plan scheduled dates and times when you'd want us to come out and make a visit and an assessment, and we can do that with you. So we invite everyone to come out to these shows in their respective areas and surrounding areas and come and speak with the team at Newport-Fersan.
All right. Thank you so very much for that.
Yes.
All right. And we look forward to the next engagement with you, Danavan. Always a pleasure to have you on.
Yes. You're welcome. Thank you very much.
Take care. Danavan Pryce there.
Fersan in the Field. Real issues, real solutions was brought to you by Newport-Fersan Jamaica Limited, the first on the land.